interact in the next slides. So I'm looking at some use cases here for decentralized finance, because somebody could ask, why should I want to use decentralized finance or DeFi? So the use cases range from payments. People want to arrange payments and be able to pay each other over the decentralized finance ecosystem. So you want to move an asset from CELO to Ethereum, and somebody is able to get their payments like that. That's fine. You can also move the assets on the blockchain itself, because, like I said initially, even a transaction on Bitcoin, if you're sending Bitcoin from address A to address B, that could also be considered DeFi, because it's essentially decentralized finance, because there's a blockchain involved. Then lending, we've seen various lending protocols that have come up in the past, such as Maker and Compound, and they using, these are kind of like brand names within DeFi. Then trading and swaps, this is being able to go between assets. You want to swap some CELO for some CELO dollars. You want to swap some CELO dollars for some CELO euros. You can be able to do this over a decentralized exchange like Uberswap, and you'll be able to get that liquidity done. So this is what happens in the centralized finance world, whereby if you wanted to swap between, say, two assets on a centralized exchange like Binance, it would happen, but you wouldn't have, you would need something called an order book, which has people who are willing to buy and sell, and your order gets put in there. When it comes to DeFi, these swaps and trades are done by liquidity pools, whereby people deposit liquidity of various assets, and you're able to use that liquidity to go between the assets as well. Then also atomic and flash loans. This is something that is quite unique to DeFi, and the flash loan is like, you hear it, it's flash, it's very quick. Somebody lends you funds in like 1 second or 5 seconds, and you're able to pay that money back within that period, which is something that is only possible in DeFi, because within the centralized finance world, you really can't be able to have flash loans. There's no mechanism that can really help you do that. So those are like some of the use cases within DeFi. Then when we look at the applications, we have some that are most relevant here. And the first one is decentralized exchanges, the DEXs, which are kind of an alternative to centralized exchanges like Binance, like Coinbase, like OKEX, like OKCoin, whereby you have order books. So on the DEXs, you have liquidity pools, and depending on how much liquidity is in that pool, you can be able to swap between various assets. Then also stable coins, like for the case of CELO. CELO is actually a DeFi fast blockchain, because the creation of CELO dollars and CELO euros happens from interaction with a decentralized exchange on the CELO platform called Mento. So Mento is an exchange that enables you to go between the native asset CELO and also the stable assets on top, like CUSD and CEURO. So once you swap these within the exchange, you're actually interacting with an actual blockchain protocol layer that enables you to go between these assets. And actually, once you swap your stable coins for CELO, essentially you are banning it or taking it out of circulation, because once that swap happens, that CUSD is destroyed. It's no longer in circulation. And once you swap your CELO for CUSD or CEURO, you are essentially minting new coins. So you can be able to directly have the supply of CUSD and CEURO happen in real time just by going between these. And I'll show you some of the protocols that you can use to do this in real time. Then lending platforms, like I mentioned, there's Maker, there's Compound, where people can be able to lend their assets and they earn interest on that. Then now you have wrapped Bitcoins, because there are various protocols that can leverage Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has some inherently slow properties, because confirmation times of 10 minutes and all of that makes it quite slow to move around. So with the wrapped Bitcoin, you can be able to deposit your Bitcoin with a custodian, and you get a wrapped version of it that can be moved up as fast as the native asset on say CELO or Ethereum. So you have 5-second block times, yet you're keeping the peg to the Bitcoin price. So you have Bitcoin moving faster, but it's a wrapped version, and but it keeps its peg to the actual price of Bitcoin, just having Bitcoin on a different chain. Then prediction markets, if you're a gambling person and you like having predictions on that, you can do that over DeFi. You don't need to have someone to hold your bets. Your bets can be held in a smart contract, and once your prediction is right, the payout is automatic. No need to go and claim for your funds the following day. It happens out in real time to your address. Yield farming, which is a huge trend in DeFi right now, whereby by yield farming, definitely it's folks looking for better returns. So you have individuals who are always looking at the various DeFi protocols within the landscape, trying to see which ones give the best return for their investment. So it's either I want to lend out my assets and get, if it's 50% per APR, or it's somebody who wants to get something that is more than that. So depending on what you want, you can always go and farm for yield and see which protocol gives you the best returns, but you have to always do your research, because we have seen various incidents of people going away with people's funds because they didn't know what they're getting into. So liquidity mining this is the act of when you provide liquidity in a liquidity pool. By liquidity, that means putting your assets within a pool, and these pools are usually funded 50-50, so you have to deposit 2 assets, and the pools vary. You can have a pool of CELO and CELO dollar, so you have to deposit 50% CELO and 50% CUSD to be able to stake that. Once that is deposited, then you get liquidity provider tokens, which can be staked, and once you stake those tokens, then you're able to get returns for providing your liquidity. So you get portions of the transaction rewards that are happening within that particular pool, as we shall see forward. Now, I would want to talk about some of the risks that we see in the DeFi space, and this is one of the, I would say, the key friction points that we have seen in DeFi today. There are various risks, but I just chose to talk about these 3 because these are 3 of the most common ones. The first one is impermanent loss. Then we have a flash loan attack and also a DeFi rug pull. So with impermanent loss, this is something that is very unique to DeFi, and it's interesting if you think about it, because with the impermanent loss, this is when you have the price of the assets that you're holding in a liquidity pool within a DeFi protocol different from the actual price of the asset on the open market. So the assets that you staked to get these liquidity provider rewards, those assets that are being held within that smart contract end up being valued at a different, actually lower price than they would be on the open market. So here I have an example that I used to see Bartley. So just imagine that Bartley goes and deposits 1 ETH, and the ETH is worth like $100 at the time. Gone are the days, but just imagine that that 1 ETH is $100. Now, like I said, these liquidity pools you need to fund with 2 assets. You don't just put 1 asset. You have to fund it with 50% of 1 asset and 50% of another, because they're like trading pairs. So it's so this particular pool is ETH and DAI. So Bartley would have to put 1 Ether, and which is equal to 100 DAI, because one ETH is equal to $100. Now, if we are looking at that giving Bartley 10% of the pool, meaning the whole pool has 10 Ether and 1,000 DAI. As in to put this into perspective, if Bartley is putting in 1 Ether, which is $100, and she's also putting in 100 DAI, which is also 100, because DAI is a stable coin pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar, and she's getting 10% of ownership of the pool, meaning the pool in totality has to have 10 Ether and 1,000 DAI, because 10% of each gives you what Bartley put there. 10% of 10 ETH is 1 ETH, and 10% of 1,000 DAI is 100 DAI. Now, this is all rosy. Once you're there, you're getting your rewards, and depending on the protocol, once you fund these liquidity pools, you get a portion of the transaction costs, or the transaction fees. And by certain protocols, like Uniswap, it's 0.3%. Then the protocols within the CELO ecosystem are 0.25%. But the 0.005% is given to you, is actually shared by everybody who has put up some liquidity somewhere, even if you didn't put in this particular pool. It's kind of shared among all the people who are providing liquidity. Now, this is the best case scenario. Nothing happens. Ether is stable. you don't see any fluctuations, and you're able to collect your liquidity provider rewards. Now, the worst case scenario is when the price of Ether shoots up in the real world. So the price here goes from $100 to $400, meaning for one Ether, you need 400 DAI. Initially, when Bartley put the liquidity in the pool, it was one Ether to 100 DAI. Now the protocol has to rebalance itself out. Now, for it to be able to account for the 400 increase in the price of Ether, then it will need to be at least 2,000 DAI to match up with the 5 Ether. So it has to sell off the Ether to be able to balance it out and have a 50-50 split, because at all times, these pools have to be balanced, 50%, 50%. So once there's a price shift, it has to balance out and sell off what has been able to move and be able to balance it out and have it at a split there. Now the protocol knows that Bartley has 10% of this pool. So if she wants to take out her 10%, now it is no longer one Ether because it has gone up by 4 times per se. Now that 10%, she has to go in and it will be that she'll actually get 10% of 5 Ether is 0.5, and also 10% of 2,000 DAI is 200 DAI. So in total, she gets out 400. Yet if she had simply held her Ether and DAI, she would have $400 in Ether and $100 in DAI, which is 500. So you can see that she has actually lost the 100. It's called impermanent loss, and it's only happening in the DeFi space. And it's something like whereby you put in liquidity, but because the prices of the assets that you put there moved, so now you end up losing it. But it is impermanent because they can always move back and you can get back there. That's why it isn't called permanent loss, because it can always change. But it's something that you need to consider when you're getting it with DeFi lending. Then there are flash loan attacks. Like I said, a flash loan is whereby somebody gives you funds, like, but it's within a very small period of time. It could actually be 1 second, or depending on the block times, because the transaction that gives you the money also has the function to make the money get paid back. So this same transaction it gives you funds and takes the funds away. So we saw an attack like this on the Bunny Cake, on the Cake Bunny token, that fell by 95% because of somebody taking advantage of this. They simply made many of these flash loans, and they took money out of the ecosystem that actually made it look like they took funds out, but then they also flooded the market with these bunny cake tokens, which made the price actually fall because there was just too much of them, and it was kind of market manipulation. But this is always bound to happen, and if you are staked within this particular protocol, of course, it will also affect your returns. So you always have to be wary of this happening. Then there's a classic rug pull. A rug pull is basically where somebody takes the rug from underneath your feet, and in the DeFi space, by somebody putting a backdoor into a smart contract that enables them to drain the liquidity out of the pool and leave you with maybe some worthless token. So if you have say you have a liquidity pool that is Ether and some random coin that nobody has ever heard of, so the developer can get guys pumped on this, people put in their Ether and that random coin, then the code in the backend has that backdoor that they can be able to go and pull out the Ether, and they leave in this random coin that nobody cares about, and of course they'll leave you holding worthless coins. So this happened on Sushi Swap a while back, and we're able to see that the protocol took a bit of a hit, but right now it's building back, and it's building back better. So these three are 3 examples of attacks or risks that happen within DeFi, and everybody should actually know about them, because you may think that you're getting in to get money, but you end up losing more, and you think that the space is full of frauds and all of that. So yeah, just need to share that. Now I want to talk about total value locked and how this comes up within the DeFi space. So TVL, or total value locked, is kind of the gold standard of measuring the worth or the value of a DeFi protocol, and it it simply talks about the value of the assets or the amount of assets that have been locked within a smart contract within a DeFi application. So the application can be on any chain. It could be on CELO, it could be on Ethereum, it could be on Polygon, it could be on Solana, but just to sum up all the value that has been locked up there in terms of either dollar value or the value of the native asset, how many of those coins do you hold there? Then you can know how much volume is actually being transacted within these smart contracts, and you can know the total value locked on that. But then when there's the term locked, it doesn't mean that the assets are like locked, like staked forever, but it's kind of like how much value are you securing on your network. So how much is moving up and down within the various smart contracts and applications, and you can know that the summation of all of that is the total value that has been locked within that chain. So the TVL is always categorized in 5 large categories, whereby you can look at lending for lending protocols, or decentralized exchanges, DEXs, like I mentioned, Uniswap, Sushi Swap, Swap, those various examples of swaps. Derivatives, people who essentially taking out bets on futures, options, and the like. Then payments. This is mainly for kind of layer 2 solutions. Examples are like the Bitcoin Lightning Network, that is currently, I think, at a TVL of around $1.2 million worth of Bitcoin locked on there. But it's growing, because from like 3 years ago it was like 50K, but it's really growing steadily. Then the last category is assets. This is looking at the actual assets there, and it simply tracks the value of all the assets that you have on a particular chain. So last I checked, the number 1 asset was wrapped Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is really, it's heavy. So even if you have few of them, they really do make up a lot of value in dollar terms. So wrapped Bitcoin is kind of the most valued asset in all of DeFi, as it's a wrapped version of Bitcoin that is moved around various chains, Ethereum, CELO, and the like. So yeah, it really adds up, because it's pegged 1-to-1 to the value of Bitcoin on the Bitcoin blockchain. This is total value locked, and think of it as the standard that you can use to talk about the worth of a network or a DeFi protocol. What is it? How much value is moving on that network? It's TVL is a very good standard that you can use. And speaking about TVL, there's some tools that we have in the ecosystem. Now this one is called DeFi Pulse. DeFi Pulse is a very good resource that you can use to know the state of the DeFi ecosystem in totality. It covers all the protocols that are currently within the space. And I took the screenshot at around 4 p.m. today. And at that point in time, we had a total of $87 billion of value locked in all of DeFi. So across all protocols, Ethereum, CELO, Solana, all DeFi protocols, the asset value is 87.43 billion total. And you can see how it has been moving up since September, from 85 going up to 100 billion, coming back down to 80, all of that. So it's just fluctuating within that range. Then Curve Finance has the most dominance. It's a DeFi platform that has various offerings, but it's kind of the dominant chain right now. And it has a lot of this value locked on it there. So there are various individuals who are yield farming on there, staking or liquidity farming on there as well. And this is a snapshot of what the DeFi ecosystems look like. Like I said, Curve Finance comes in number 1. It has a total value locked of 16.1 billion. Then there's Aave, which is to do with lending. It has 13.8 billion. Then Instadap, also to do with lending, which is 12.4 billion. This was as at 4 p.m. today. As you can see, the protocols come from the order of the highest down, Compound, all the way to Balance. These are like the top 10 that we have right now. So maybe this would look different in maybe one month from now, who knows? And you can also arrange them by looking at what is the top under lending, what is the top under DEXs, derivatives, payments, assets. These are like the 5 categories that I mentioned. These are kind of the categories that people use to determine a total value locked, and this is like the general category, but you can also narrow down under these 5 categories. So yeah. Then moving to DeFi on CELO in particular, and we actually call it MoFi because it's mobile finance, because CELO is a mobile first blockchain platform. You can be able to get access to decentralized finance from the comfort of your smartphone without having to have a PC. So you can be able to plug your Valora wallet into Swap and be able to get swapping, be able to stake for liquidity. You can be able to even make some moves. Actually, Swap has an upgrade that is going live at 7 p.m. tonight Eastern time. It's called single staking, whereby folks will be able to simultaneously stake their UBE, which is the governance token, and also vote for proposals from the comfort of staking. So prior to this, you had to either choose if you wanted to stake your UBE. So I'm getting some feedback. Getting a bit of feedback.
Hello, please let's unmute ourselves, please. Okay, everyone, can you hear me? Let's unmute ourselves so it won't
to mute.
Okay, great.
Yes, sorry, we have muted.
Thank you, Michael. So like I was saying, DeFi on CELO is called MoFi, mobile finance, because CELO is kind of the mobile first blockchain platform, and I'm trying to get DeFi onto the mobile realm because we have 6 billion smartphones on the planet. If you want to get more people familiar with this particular aspect of blockchain and crypto, it's best to do it on the mobile phone, because the mobile phone is the most widespread I would say piece of technology that we have in as far as consumer tech goes. So these are some statistics from another platform called DeFi Llama, and DeFi Llama also tracks statistics of various DeFi protocols across the whole crypto space. So as of 4 p.m. today as well, the total value locked on CELO was 1.7 billion US dollars, and mainly this is tracking the value of the protocols that are on CELO within that, and also the value of CELO that is locked. And when you look to the right side of the screen here, you find that the very first platform that has the most value at $771 million is Mento. Mento, like I mentioned, is the native exchange within the CELO platform. It is a feature of CELO that enables folks to interact with the reserve. So you can be able to create stable coins, mint them, or you can be able to burn them and redeem CELO for them. When you do that, whether using Valora or some other application that I'll show you later on, you're actually interacting with a very core part of the CELO protocol, which is this exchange. So Mento is what is called a constant product decentralized one-to-one mechanism. Actually, it was called CP.O, like I think 6 months ago, but the community voted to call it Mento because Mento means mint in Esperanto, which is kind of the language that CELO is built on. And so with Mento, you can be able to create stablecoins, destroy stablecoins by interacting them, by buying and selling them with the reserve, because there you're actually interacting with the heart of the CELO protocol, which is pretty neat, as you find that it's one of the features that come out nicely when you're talking about DeFi protocols and algorithmic stablecoins, things that are not backed by fiat. Because if it was fiat, then somebody has to go and put dollars or shillings in a bank account somewhere, which we cannot verify per se, and then they're able to get some of these stable coins minted. But with CELO, every stable coin that comes into existence is on chain, because it's either, there are only two ways that you can be able to get a CELO dollars created. One is by getting validator epoch rewards, which are given out every 24 hours to validators for securing the network, or two, by interacting with Mento by selling your CELO for CUSD and CELO Euro, and that can actually bring that in. So the coins that when you interact with this exchange, you're able to create and burn these stable value currencies. So Mento is the biggest form of DeFi we have on CELO, and it's really practical because it comes inbuilt into Valora. So anybody who has used the CELO function of Valora has been able to see how to interact and create stable coins with Mento. Then secondly, we have Sushi Swaps. Now, Sushi Swap is a multi-chain DEX that is on various chains there. As you can see them, they actually hide it. If you zoom in a bit, you can see Polygon there, you can see Ethereum, you can see Avalanche, you can see OKEX, Harmony. There are very many. And the sell on there is worth $105 million. Then there's Mola Market, Mobius Money, UbeSwap, Albridge. Albridge is a bridge to Solana, and currently it has $16 million worth of CELO. Then there's Beefy Finance, there's Pull Together, which is a no-loss lottery, yeah, and there's Poof Cash, and lastly there's Symmetry, which is also a very awesome DEX that has a lot of potential, despite the total value locked being just 651,000. So that is how CELO and DeFi is currently built up as we can see this now. Then moving in a bit further, this is something I picked up today. It was a screenshot of all the unique token holders on CELO across the various protocols. So for UbeSwap, you can see we have 7,573 unique addresses that hold the Ube native token. Then on Mobi or Mobius, the native token is Mobi, and there are 3,444 native addresses that are holding this token, just like that for Mola, for Sushi, for Symmetric, and also Poof. So it's a growing ecosystem. As you can see, we're yet to hit 8,000 in any of them, but when you pull them together, of course, they are well over 10,000. And we hope to see more of this by the time we're done with the initiatives that we're currently running on CELO. Speaking of initiatives, there is currently within the CELO ecosystem, there is the movement of DeFi for the people, and DeFi for the people is on a mission here. If I could put it in the words of René Reinsberg, who is one of the co-founders of CELO, that we're trying to collaborate with the biggest names in DeFi to bring more than 1 billion new users into the DeFi ecosystem over the next 5 years. So it's kind of a medium to long-term play, trying to look at bringing in more people, 1 billion people, which is quite huge. Because if you're looking at Africa, Africa alone has 1.3 billion people. So if we would be able to get anywhere near this number, it would be so huge for us for trying to get DeFi to the people and also using mobile-first technologies. So this initiative was launched a couple of months back, and DeFi for the people currently, it launched with $100 million worth of incentives across various ecosystems, and people do various tasks to be able to tap into these incentives. And at launch, we had partners in Aave, Curve, Sushi, Pull Together, 0x, Uma, Valora, UbeSwap, and Mola Market. These are kind of the founding partners who were there at launch, but we've been able to actually get more, like the Graph, Chainlink as well, and a few others that will be in the news soon. So there's currently a hackathon that is in play. It's called the Make It Mobile Hackathon. And for this, there's $2.5 million in pricing, funding, and support that is really up for grabs if you want to get involved, because right now there are various sections that people can be able to play, from NFTs and gaming to ecosystem support, to people who can be able to build faster ways to integrate with the chain and also make it a more seamless experience for DeFi on the mobile phone. So if you're interested in that, please check out DeFiforthepeople.org, and you can be able to sign up and join the initiative, because there are various initiatives that are happening in as far as getting DeFi to the masses goes. Then there is a bridge, Optics. It's a very interesting piece of engineering work there. Optics is essentially an interchain cross communication protocol that is able to send messages from CELO to other blockchains and initially able to send assets over. So Optics is live. It's deployed on CELO mainnet, Ethereum mainnet, and Polygon mainnet. So you can be able to change or transfer assets between these networks without having to incur any other, I would say, inconveniences. So it's very exciting times to have DeFi or to even be in the CELO ecosystem right now. and I encourage everyone to check it out. Then lastly, there is an innovation in as far as getting Mento out, because I was talking about Mento there. So Mento is, like I said, it's a native DEX, with DEX being a decentralized exchange within the CELO protocol. You can interact with it within Valora if you went to the CELO tab and you're able to buy and sell. What you're doing there initially, you're actually interacting with the CELO, whether with the Mento protocol. Now, there is a community member called Rossi who has built I would say, a web interface where people can actually go to Mento. It's mento.finance, and within here you can be able to, in real time, interact with this easier from a browser window or even on mobile, and it's going to help more folks be able to get liquidity for CELO, because you can create stable coins in real time, you can destroy them in real time, and you can also be able to go between assets without having the hassle of going through a centralized exchange. So all of this is being built under this initiative, and we hope to see that we can be able to interest more people to build on CELO and also take advantage of DeFi for the people built on a mobile-first platform. And in a nutshell, that's what I had to talk about today. I think it's been quite a lot, but yeah, can always take questions at this point.
Wow, great. Wow, thank you so much for taking time out to explain all of those.
Batley, are you there?
Batley has gone to take a drink, but let me replace as far as I can. Not so well. First of all, Umar, thank you so much. Always a pleasure hearing the inputs and the great study behind. But before I go further, let other members maybe ask some questions that they have. I see Paddy has a hand raised up, and I'm sure there are other questions. Please, let's get the questions now out, answered, so that with the next step, you even know way better. So Paddy, I see you are on. You can unmute yourself, ask directly or write, whatever works best for everyone. I see Paddy.
Yes, hello, good evening. This is Paddy from Bit2Big. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just wanted to answer the other person, but I didn't know where to press, so I lifted up my hand.
Okay, no problem. But I see you have answered already. The question was, where can you buy CELO token or CUSD?
Hello, how you hear me now?
Yeah, I just took over badly. I had to improvise.
I really apologize about that. I don't know what happened. My system
no problem.
Out, so I had to try to relog in from my phone. So Umar, thank you so much for that powerful session. All right, it was highly and superb. Okay, so from my end, I would just need let's say, should I say, more explanation on the impermanent loss. When you used my name, you cited my name as an example. All of those are not. I would really appreciate if we can just go over it for a minute or two or a few seconds to simplify it. Okay, is that fine, please?
Yes, Batley. Very happy to do it.
Others actually, I actually picked all of those and I understood as well. And also for the participants, please, if you have any questions at all, this is the right time to ask. You can drop all of your questions in the chat box. And for those streaming live on YouTube, please go to our WhatsApp and drop your questions, and I can bring it to the Zoom call. Mr. Umar or Mr. Michael would answer all of our questions for us. All right. Thank you for joining. So, Umar, please, I'm with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Batley. When it comes to impermanent loss, and that is something that you'll find is kind of an issue across all of DeFi, because it happens and people don't really know how to hedge against this. So what people can do, okay, first of all, let me just talk about it as you have asked me to talk about it. With impermanent loss, like the word says, then it's a loss that is not permanent, as in it's a loss that can easily be reversed once the prices of the assets that have lost value kind of pick up again. But then this is interesting because the idea of this particular loss happens when an individual has locked or provided liquidity within a liquidity pool, and the assets that they have put within that pool appreciate in value within like the open market. So it's kind of, you would have made money if you had held these assets and you hadn't staked them, as opposed to locking them within that liquidity pool and the value changes. Now, this is behind the idea that once you want to get these liquidity provider rewards, which are essentially the fees that people get, because like on a centralized exchange, like say Binance, there are trading fees that people take off of these. So if you wanted to say buy or sell on Binance, there are fees that the exchange takes for being able to facilitate that transaction. Now, these fees in the DeFi world, they're also there, and they're given to liquidity providers because they have provided liquidity to enable this trade. Within the centralized finance world, Binance provides a platform that enables people to come, buyers and sellers, and they meet. So they take the fees from there. Here, there are no order books that people come and say, I want to buy or sell. What we have in DeFi are things called liquidity pools that people get the assets and they put them in there to be able to facilitate the buying and selling of these assets. Without liquidity pools, DeFi would not work. These things are actually the backbone of DeFi. So they provide the liquidity to enable the trades that happen within DeFi. Now, once you fund these liquidity pools, you put, say, 1 Ether, depending on how the pools are set up, because different pools have different setups. But there's kind of a general rule of thumb that for every pool, it is 50-50. So it has to be 50 of Ether and 50 of the other asset. So the idea that the example that I gave was, you, Bartley, wanted to fund a liquidity pool that is Ethereum and DAI. DAI is a stable asset. It won't really fluctuate that much. But Ethereum, on the other side, is very volatile. It can go up and down. So the idea is, once you fund this, and I made it quite easy to make it, think of a liquidity pool that has 10 Ether and 100 DAI. 10 Ether and 100 DAI. Let me just bring this up here a bit. Let me just explain. Let me bring up the idea that I used. Just one moment. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the idea is, okay, from this example here, you as Bartley, just imagine that the price of Ethereum is $100. You get one Ether. This is just making it simple. And the price of DAI, like I said, is 1 DAI equals $1. So this particular pool has to have 50-50. So for it to be 50-50, it would be 1 Ether, which is $100, has to go in with 100 DAI, which is $100. So 50, 100, 50, 100, and that is how you put liquidity within this particular pool. Now, this is a small pool. It only has 10 Ether and 1,000 DAI. Now, this gives you, because you put 1 Ether inside there and you put 100 DAI inside there, if you do the math here, essentially you have 10% of this pool, because 1 Ether out of 10 is 10%, and 100 DAI out of 1,000 is 10%. So you own 10% of this pool just by your 1 Ether and your 100 DAI. Is that clear to that stage?
Yes, please. That's really, really clear. Thank you for taking time out to explain all of those for us and for me. And definitely, we can always go back to this session, like the recording, and listen all over again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for.
Yeah. Maybe to simply just close it down here. Now, that is the ideal scenario. That is what everybody would wish would happen. So you put your funds in this pool and they would stay there so you can be able to get rewards. So what happens here is that on every single day, you're getting 10% of what this pool gives. And essentially 10% on like most pools, because like say, take the example of Uniswap, every liquidity provider, once you provide liquidity, you're entitled to 0.3% of the liquidity fees. So you're earning this. This is your money coming in. Now the problem comes once the value of what you put in, the Ethereum you put in, goes up. Meaning you put it in at $100. Now one Ethereum is $400. Now the pool has to rebalance out so that 50% is there. So you'll find that the DAI has to increase from 1,000 to 2,000, and the Ethereum has to decrease from 10 to 5 to make it 50-50. Because essentially one Ethereum is 400, so 400 times 5 is 2,000. And also for the side of DAI, you find that one DAI is $1, so you need 2,000 of them to balance the 2,000 Ethereum. And that is how the pool has restructured. However, now Bartley wants to take her liquidity out. She wants to go and do other things. Bartley, remember, you own 10% of this pool. So whatever you're taking out has to be 10%. So you won't take out more than that. Now, when you put it in, you had a whole Ether, one Ether, which was $100. But taking out 10% of that now is going to be cut in half, because one Ether is no longer $100, it is 400. So your 100 has to be, I would say, cut in half as well, so that you can be able to get exactly what you put in, which is 400. So you do not make the profit that you would have made had you held these assets. So for this particular example, if you had simply held your Ethereum and you hadn't provided liquidity here, instead of having 100, you would have $400 in Ethereum and $100 in DAI, which is 500. But now you're taking out rewards that have been halved. So instead of getting out a whole Ethereum, you're getting out 0.5 Ether, which is $200, and 200 DAI, which is 400. So you have lost 100 DAI or $100 in that transaction, which wouldn't have happened if you simply held your assets. So it's a bit of there's some math here, but this is what people really go through in DeFi. And people really find a problem with this, because you put your money in, you have your calculations, but it comes out that the market moves, and this is what happens on the other side.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like everything you said now, a whole lot, but at least I was able to grab the whole concept. Thank you very much. So,
Yeah, it takes time.
do we have any questions for Umar? So, okay.
I think there was one more
sorry.
question from Yamin.
Do we have any question? Okay. Mr. Michael, do you have any question, please?
I think Yemi, you had a question. I saw you unmuted earlier.
Oh, okay. In the course of no
Yeah, there's
question,
some questions.
okay,
No, I see there's some questions coming in. Kiss word.
Okay. Okay. Just a moment. Okay, I'm seeing here from Kiss World. Where can I buy CELO? All right, beautiful. You can get CELO from us at visiting our office, our physical office at Costa Uganda, counter number 25, or alternatively, you can reach Paddy on those numbers shown on the screen. Another means to reach us is via our social media platforms. You can also leave us a message on WhatsApp, message any of the admins on WhatsApp to get your CELO. All right. And I'll also drop my personal number. You can actually reach out to me at any time of the day, all right, to buy or to transact with us. Okay. Do we have any other question? And for those that joined on YouTube, I was saying they can actually us their questions on WhatsApp. All right, so please.
Hello, can you hear me? I think Bartley has gone again for another drink.
Let me quickly head to the
We can't hear
WhatsApp
you.
and check. If you have none, we are actually going to go at CEO to come on and do the final. Yes. Okay. Now I've gone to WhatsApp and we don't have any questions right there. So on these notes, I'll be inviting our very own CEO of Mr. Michael Kiberu to come on and have the floor. So, sir, you can have the floor of this.
Oh, Bartley, thank you very much. I've been already in and out a bit. First of all, thank you for everyone joining. Thank you, Uma, for the great presentation again. You took the whole floor for something that needs a whole floor. So well done on that. I really don't want us to spend much more time here because we usually try to really keep time starting, but also ending. So I know some of you have come because you want to see also some practical stuff, which we have not been able to show you last time because of time. This time similar, but I don't want to miss it out today. So I will just briefly go over a platform, Swap, because we had about Uma shared a lot about DeFi, the CELO landscape, and all that. Really great stuff in general. He talked about farming, about yield farming, total value locked up, which basically states how much really cash has left in any form, maybe first from fiat, then to crypto, from crypto into the smart contracts, the machine that are basically holding it. We had about mainly also, I think it's quite important, the liquidity pools. At the end, we had about the losses, which is also important, I think, to know. Everything has losses, especially when money comes in. So it's good we also had that part on. Still, 83 billion, 87 billion actually, more than 87 billion are currently in DeFi, and we believe it's gonna skyrocket into other levels. I remember when I was doing my studies at London University for tokens basically, and crypto and finance. They were like saying back then, crypto and all that is really important. It's really something growing and definitely can have a huge impact on the financial market, but it has not yet grown to the point that it can have like really the impact thought of. Now the language has totally changed. Now it's like, okay, DeFi actually allows people a different level of lending, like Uma shared also, and not just lending, but actually allows you to enter on the one side, the financial world, and CELO makes it just too simple to do so, and also allows you to have a machine, basically a bank, financial manager work for you 24/7 by creating your value via the tokens. For example, we spoke about the LP token, which we get that are like liquidity pool tokens. So you invest and then you have yield from it in a similar or different token. So DeFi is a space that I myself, I've been excited. I think for years now I've been talking about DeFi, and it's just now when we actually, with CELO, it makes more fun. On Ethereum, you pay like $200 on just moving. So if you want to say, okay, I want to stake, I want to put my money in, the Ethereum blockchain itself is so badly designed, I can today say, and that gives you limits that don't allow you to enjoy. Let me put it that way. But you have high fees. It has not always been like that, but that's been now the reality in the last 2 years almost. CELO solved it from 2017 when CELO started. It's Ethereum compatible, but does things on a different level. And as Uma mentioned, 6 billion phones is the potentials of those that are outside there already. And I think CELO is doing a great job towards that. So let me not talk more. Let's go, if we talk at least the walk. So I'll show you how actually you can start. Number one, let me just share my screen. I have different open here. Okay, so number one, so you say, okay, I've heard about DeFi, I've read about it, but now can we also do it? We don't want just the words, huh? We want the action. One of the platform I highly recommend is really Swap. Swap, sometimes it's like, I almost call it Uber Swap. Huh? Swap is a decentralized finance application implementation on CELO. So we had about Uniswap. That was one of our first big players in the DeFi space, open like mentioned. Then other folks, call it clone or copies, were created, doing few things different. Some of them are like, oh, they're so bad, they can't do anything. But at the end of the day, they did. So we had Uniswap, we had Sushi Swap, Sushi, and then we now have few different ones. But on the CELO space, the number one is we have also seen is Swap, and Sushi has recently joined, but Swap has a dedicated team just on CELO. So I really highly recommend everyone to look into this. So what are the tool sets? We spoke about some tool set, but if you really want to start on decentralized finance, you have to get few things right. I was yesterday in a meeting, or yesterday but one, and who was with the client who had challenges with transfers, and which we support clients to exchange bigger amounts when the normal process is either expensive or not friendly enough, or when just the right support is needed. And he had a token which was on Ethereum, and he wanted to change it and get the cash out, which we do. But at the end of the day, the fees were quite high, so he had to. The better process was to change it. He used a different blockchain. As I mentioned, Ethereum is not the best in the transaction when it comes to the cost. Their technology had been good when it started, but now it is archaic, I would say, carefully, because it is a great technology, but to power the different houses that have been built across the world on the blockchain, Ethereum has to do finally what they have promised. Looks like finally I will do it maybe next year, but it's a question mark. CELO has solved it. So I just want to talk about the one who has done it. So at the end of the day, we help the client to move the funds, and then I talked to them about security, because I like that we always talk about security. And one of the things I told him is like, with cryptocurrencies, you're your own bank. You're really your own bank. So the security is at that level that you have to set it. You are your own bank. And they really said, I like this analogy, because if you lose your private keys, your money is gone. If you have not backed them at least up that you can restore them and maybe change, etc., if it has to be, your money is gone. So if you don't keep your private key, that's it. Now, before, if you just do crypto, you get your wallet, send to your wallet, write down your phrases, that's it. With decentralized finance, it looks a bit different, because now you go, I think now people have really fully gone into Web3. I don't think that was called like that in the beginning, but Web3, whereby now you need tools to access special websites that are built on smart contracts. Before, you just have your app, but now the app is on the web, or it could even come as an application in your phone, but it just functions different. And the key is your private key. In the web, the number one player has been, in my eyes, Metamask. Metamask, you can get it as a plugin into Chrome, into Opera, Firefox, or just install the Brave browser. So that's the Brave browser. You can also just install the Brave browser, and then you have also it's basically crypto wallet is inbuilt. So if you don't have Brave, install this is the one here, install the plugin that allows you to have the wallet or communication that you can communicate with your private key with Web3 apps. So let me just show how briefly how it works. I don't want, as I mentioned, take much time. I want us rather to take more time next time and go deeper on this. So I just open mine here. I just install the plugin. Please, when you install plugins, don't just get from someone a link. Not even us want to give you a link. Go to the official stores, if it's the App Store, if it's the Google Play, or if it's your browser's Chrome plugins, and just don't install it. If you install the wrong one, we're back to the topic we had, total losses, which we don't want. So we want to use a bit smartness. So as you can see, it already tells us, hey, protect your funds. How? You have a secret recover phrase that controls all your accounts. You should never share it with anyone. Metamask team will never ask for your secret recovery phrases. Always keep the secret recovery phrase in a secure and secret place. That's not easy. Secure and secret place. So don't just put it on your table so you don't forget when you need them. Put it in a place you know, it lasts. I've seen people or had people or seen solution where they actually write the key on a metal, like really on basically a pen. They write it really on them into the metal and then put it on top of it. I don't know, into a chain or what. You don't have to go that crazy, but depends on the amount you're holding. So if we go now to, let me say my account here, we see here's my account, here's my address. I currently hold Ethereum 0.1, which is at this point $479. And then I have different tokens. So I've logged in. So that means now my app, if I say, okay, let me open the app here. Now I'm going to app. See the address here, it's app.oopswap.org. Please always mark the addresses. Don't just get a link from someone and click on it, because as I've said, not all of it, some of it is just fake. So let me share with you the link here. There you go, there's the link. So that is the OopSwap. And now you can see I've connected to a wallet. So I connect to the wallet. What happens next? It asks me either the Valora, and we didn't talk much about Valora. Let me lose just 1 minute on it. 1 minute. Valora grew with the CELO, basically with the CELO, and it's a wallet, one of the wallet holding CELO. And not only holding it, you can also exchange them. So you can exchange your stable coin with a non-stable coin, CUSD with CELO, CELO with CUSD, which is, it's just doing a great job. Just that, basically. But beyond, if you look a bit beyond that, and that's when you see when you register it, what is the most amazing thing is, I just talk about private keys. You write them down, then you keep them and all that. And normally it's your app that has those keys. Valora just works with your phone number. That's why we're talking about 6 billion phones. It enables you to use your phone number to become more or less the key to work with. So it registers you with your phone number. So after registration, yes, you get phrases, you can write away, etc. But your phone number is the key part here. How it works a bit, I explained the last video session or last webinar with Bit2Big, so I think you can pull it up. So Valora also allows you, so you can do this on the phone. Valora also allows you now to be the key to enter this awesome DeFi space. So we use Valora. For me, I usually use Metamask for different reasons. It's my standard, and now. So I recommend you, where you can, use Metamask. Most of the time, where you like to, when you're mobile, you need something else, use Valora. So it asks me every time you get a permission, request, and the latest attacks, just a few days ago, latest attacks, people actually bring out another window like this. So the best way to do it is always don't have many tabs open here, okay? One day you'll say, thank you for this. Don't open many tabs, just if possible have one tab, and the URL you visit is important. There's so much phishing attacks. I'll not talk to them about it next time. So I get a confirmation here. This one wants to access with my key. It said, oh yeah, I'm allowing it to access, to connect with MetaMask. I want to connect on this website, and then I see all my transaction. Without the key, I cannot see the transaction or do anything. So this is a Oops Swap. Simple interface, almost like Google. Google for your CELO financial digital world. Oops Swap, its main job is creating really more liquidity on the CELO blockchain, and they're doing a great job behind it. So when I'm on it, I really have these typical wordings which we're hearing. I have the swapping. To swap means I take my CELO here. Let me check what I have. So I take a CELO. I take my CELO here. It's still loading how much I have. Let's see. I take my CELO here. And then I want to change CELO to maybe to OOP token. Okay, that's a OOP token of OOP Swap. That's the token we saw. It's the way they have most holders on the CELO network. I can press max here for my CELO. I think I'm on the wrong network. Am I on the right network? Let me just check it out. Because MetaMask, yeah, I'm on the right one. MetaMask allows me to be on different networks. Here, I'm not seeing it, but the other one shows. So let me click on CELO here. No, it doesn't work this way. Let me go here on the, you have different networks. I wish you do, oh, I didn't configure it here. And I really don't want to start from zero here again. Let me open my other browser because I have configured it already. On the other side, I really want you to learn this. So, okay, it's not here, the configuration. So if I want the CELO, Brave, or MetaMask, so MetaMask, CELO network, because you're gonna need to do it, and I want to show you. So here is on CELO.org. On CELO.org, you have the how to configure it. Some of it is just a click. Let me see what we can do here. So MetaMask, we have information here. And configure MetaMask desktop, there we are. This is the one. I will send it also in the group. So that is basically what you have to do. So where are we? Here we are. So CELO mainnet, okay. There's issue. Okay, this one does not support it. That's fine. So I can now take this data here. I can copy it. You can just put it anywhere where you like to copy anything. And then I go here to to MetaMask. There is it, MetaMask. Are we seeing you? There we are. Then I go here and I say custom network. Custom RPC is basically your custom network. Then you add the name here, which we just copied. So this is the data here. So I give it a name. So I say, okay, you are number one, you are on the mainnet. Then I use the URL, how to reach this service, the mainnet. So that's the one. Then I use the chain ID. It's optional, but doesn't matter if you, it's good if you have it on. Then you have the symbol. It also tells us optional, but I want to put it there. And then I add the URL where when I search for a transaction, where that is the blockchain explorer, where actually I can find, I can see the ongoing transaction. I can now say save. Now I've added my custom network. So if I go back here to OopSwap, to the app, let me see which network we're now on. I click on it here. I have, yes, CELO. Let me refresh it. And as I refresh it, I can now see, there we are, load. There we should be. Let me see the network we are on now. Yes, we're on CELO now. And as you can see, now the tokens are shown here. I have 0 OOP, I have 141 CELO here. So I could go here and say, hey, let me swap some CELO to some OOP token, UP token. There we are. And I say all of it. No, I can't sell my CELO, all of it. Let me just take one. So I take one here, which is currently 8.13613 OOP tokens. And I go here. I say, okay, swap it. So it tells me, hey, if you want, it's one CELO to this one. Price impact looks fine. There are a few other things usually we look at, but we can leave that for now. Price has updated. Let's see how it looks like. It keeps checking that we get the best price possible. So it's telling me the minimum received is gonna be this, what I'm gonna get. 0.01 is the impact on the price, and then liquidity provider fee. So the one, that's what Uma was also explaining. The one providing liquidity is gonna now get 0.0, it's gonna go into a pool, 0.003, gonna go into the pool. So those who provided liquidity are being paid basically for it. It's like you taking your money, giving it for someone to do business, tell him that amount you want back, but on top of it, you also want part of the profits. And that's how it works here. So now I have to confirm it. Please don't just confirm what you don't know. So it's telling me these are the gas fee, 0.001. I don't even know how much CELO this is. If we're to look at it, CELO right now it's about $6. So we go here and let me check out how much that is. That is 0.00. That is like not even 0.10 CELO dollar or CELO. So I mean that is dollar here. That's the dollar amount I'm calculating here. It's almost nothing. So if it was Ethereum, you might see $220, and I mean it. It's horrible. So exactly, super cheap. Thank you. So I say yes, confirm it. I don't mind. Looks for me okay. So now the transaction is happening. It has been submitted on the blockchain. And normally you now go to Binance, see the token you want to buy. There's some money on the token already there. Binance charges you a fee. You have no control over it, and they're holding your key, and I don't know what. And you don't get a reward from it. If you are the one they're holding your CELO or whatever, also don't get any reward. But here, everything is decentralized, not centralized, and you providing liquidity, you benefit, you holding the token, depends how you benefit. Holding means for me staking here. So if I click here on view transaction, I can now see on the blockchain the status of the transaction, which it was already confirmed. Even Ethereum is not that fast. Bitcoin, we know, has its strengths and its weaknesses. Ethereum is just, I mean, CELO is just, I mean, it makes fun. For me, now with CELO, I have fun, and I'm even starting to do things I have not been doing for a while because I saw the fee I just lost. I say, like, no way. Let me wait till they finally migrate, then maybe. But even if they migrate, I'll just move some of it clearly to this side. So we have done the swap. As you can see now, I have 8 OOP token, 813, which I just exchanged. I didn't have them before. 1 OOP token right now is 0.77. It had actually kind of like crashed a bit for different reasons. Some of them say because Sushi came on board, so that brought that into it. But I think it's worth buying. Someone asked me today, he wants to invest some little funds. And what do I recommend to him? I told him, watch this session, do what we're doing here, do what we're doing even next week more, and start with that. So I have 8 OOP token. So now I want to invest. I want to put my seeds into the ground and hope when it grows, when it is going to create more yield, and then I can eat from that, rather eat the seed that I have. That's decentralized finance, yield farming, basically. Instead of eating the seed, I put the seed into the ground and then wait patiently That's the staking. Into the ground is staking. You're not going to pull out a seed and expect it to grow in your hand. So the longer you leave it, the better. So we talk about, I'll show you the figures here, what it means. So we go now to the pool and we say, okay, I have actually already done one pool here. I've already staked into OOP and CELO, which I'm going to do even more. So I say, yeah, I want to add more liquidity. Which token? We take OOP token again. We take CELO here. And as we have learned, we always have 2 tokens. Something is changing. I don't want to go into details here, but that's what we're going to do now. And then I go into another token here, which is my OOP token. So I take the 2. And then if I take max, that'll be 140 and 1,000 so-and-so tokens. There should be a message somewhere that I don't have enough here, insufficient OOP token. So to be there, I need to go max here because I need the balance. Okay, I can only go in 50-50. So if I have, for example, 140 CELO token, I need to have to that value also, in this case, 1,149 OOP tokens, which I don't have right now, but it's okay. So I go max on OOP token. There we are. And then I say, yes, apply it. So you see here the shared pool, 0.01, even a bit below. I'll be using, I'll be putting in this amount of OOP, this amount of CELO, and supply. Oh, before I click here, for you to know, the pool share is here. No, you don't see the enough information here. We'll go there. So this is now my staking. So I'm staking now. And the beauty of it, it's already telling me what will receive. You will receive, what I'll receive. So in this case, I'm putting in CELO, putting in OOP. That's the rates that is showing me behind it. Share of the pool. So my amount I'm putting in gives me a share on this whole pool of 0.000123. It's a bit small, but at least I have a share, right? So as the pool is, as I put the seeds in the ground beside many other farmers, we all share the land. We all put seeds in it. Then when profit starts coming out, profits in the sense of stuff start growing and we can start harvesting and all that, we're gonna go all with one big machine. We don't need to hire 20 of them because there will be no space. We are all part of that big farm. And as we get the yield out and what has been farmed, we share it. And in this case, I get this share from it, okay? So it's quite simple when you think in those terms. It's something one has to digest. So it asks me again for confirmation. This is what you want to do. This is the gas you'll be paying. I say, yeah, that is totally fine. I can almost ignore it. Sometimes when I do bigger transaction, I try to maybe reduce it a little bit, but I've seen it doesn't help much because usually it's quite calculated way. So since I did the same, so now I see I have 21. That is I told you 50-50 always. OOP CELO, that is my pool share. On this, I have 64 OOP in there, about 8 CELO inside here. Now I can go to farm. So farming, now I have added my OOP and CELO token. By doing so, I'm earning some new seeds, but those seeds are a bit different. So I'm earning some rewards in a different token here. And if I want now to invest that, I can now look at farming here and see, okay, I can deposit. I mean, you can either buy them or have them from the rewards. So if I go here and I want to finish here. So if I want to say, okay, I want to get the OOP LP liquidity token, okay? This is a token I want to get for different reasons. I can say, okay, let me add liquidity. Let me add my CELO, my Mobi here. I want to go back here. There we are. Okay, let me go to this one. I want to farm on this one. So as you can see, your liquidity deposit, I'm getting OOP LP CELO token. That's what I'm basically getting. And because I have staked, I get CELO paid every week. I get UP token paid every week. These ones I get, I can now withdraw anytime. And in this case, I'll be getting CELO, which is beautiful. I'll get UP tokens, which is beautiful. And I could restake them. That's what you see on the farming, for example. So we always look at the LP token. What's the LP token we're getting? Not only that, we're also looking at what are we getting per week, okay? So I can say, okay, this is wonderful. Let me claim. So I'm claiming my CELO here. I'm claiming my UP token here. I say, yes, I want to claim it. As usual, I need to confirm. Once I've confirmed, I'll get them paid out to me. In this case, I can restake them, etc. I want to stop here. I want to go a bit deeper next week and also even answer too many questions that you're going to have, because which pool are we investing in? That's what I want to discuss with you next week. How do we know which pool we are taking? Are we maybe even creating a new pair, for example? So where do we want to add liquidity? Once you have added liquidity, you earn on everyone who wants now to exchange either in this case CELO or UP. You're earning on it. On farming, I want now to invest my tokens into the grounds. It's kind of like similar to the other, but a bit different here, into the ground. And then I farm, I get another new token, which I can still stake again, depends. So what do you look at? You look at the APY. APY here is basically what you get paid. So we see now CELO Mobi, you get 126%. So in a year, that will be not even a year, over 100%. I think I don't need to do the math for you. We already had this more than enough. More, I will talk about it more. It's important to know, at least to understand it. This one is quite new, the KNOX token. It's 372%. One thing I can tell you, check what came out this week. Put your funds there, because the first week usually you get bigger rewards. I want to stop here because this is a whole mouthful topic. I want you to ask questions that you have maybe so far and close within the next 5 minutes, because next week we're gonna just have this alone, a topic, just this. We have had introduction, a very good introduction even already last week on CELO. We had an introduction further today on DFI, which is not just introduction. This was really great stuff Omar presented. I really appreciate that. Now, after the introduction, I want to go practical. And UpSwap is built on CELO blockchain. So if you don't have CELO tokens, we don't really need to go. We want to buy CELO token. Once you have the CELO token, go into this. You've asked before where to buy CELO token. You can contact Bartley, you can contact me, contact Paddy. In our WhatsApp group, basically any admin say, hey, I want to buy CELO token. Right now, we don't really, we give it to you actually at the actual price. We don't really add any markup there. So you get it, let me call it cheaper, less expensive than if you went to an exchange. But if you want an exchange, we don't give you support on those. But here you have a smiling Paddy, a smiling Bartley, and so on and so forth, supporting you, giving you trainings webinar. But if you want to go straight, you could go to OKX Exchange or just go CoinMarketCap, see where they are. You can also buy them there. But we recommend generally where you can buy it in the country, especially you are in, do it there in the trusted resources. Omar, if we're not maybe in the countries where we are, you can contact Omar. He can also always link you or tell you where and so on and so forth. So let me hand over the mic to any member here. I see Omar has their hand raised, but if we let him talk, we might delay further. So let me not let him talk first. Anyone else who have questions or comments? Because once I let Omar talk, you know, he's loaded and I might not be able to pull the mic timely from him. Anyone else here who wants to jump in, ask a question? I know Omar must have something valuable to add on. So if I see no other hand or any other question. Please, Uma, let us know what you want to add or ask.
Thank you, Michael, for this. And this is just like an addition to what you're saying there, because right now, like I mentioned, the folks at Ubisoft passed a governance proposal, I think it's governance proposal number 6. And actually, yeah, it's relevant because, are you still sharing your screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because now when you see these tabs up there, you see swap, pool, farm, bridge, and chats. So they have an initiative called single staking, whereby individuals can be able to stake their UBE, the governance token, and they can be able to also vote for governance proposals at the same time. Prior to this, you had to either decide whether you wanted to stake your UBE or you had to go and vote. So you couldn't have it both ways. But now, right next to the tab you see chats, there will be a tab that will be saying stake tonight at exactly 2 a.m. our time, and it will be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So by the time we get up tomorrow morning, there will be that functionality. And for the people who are going to be staking going forward for 1 week, they'll be getting 3 times the rewards, which is 5% of what you've staked for the first week. And after that, you get back your normal 5% per week worth of UBE that you've staked. So folks should consider getting that opportunity.
Wow, I told you he's gonna add stuff. Huh? Uma, thank you for that. Exactly. So that's a single staking. People have been waiting for this for a long time. People are quite happy finally that it's coming out, and it's good to know the time, 2 a.m. That I guess is Uganda time. But I believe in the morning we should be all in the time zone for it. So really, the UB token, actually, I saw a comment. I think Uma was mentioning it, or another group. I don't remember where it was, but that CELO is not something where there's big talk out there, like buying unorganic numbers and all that. CELO is still really under the radar of many. And that's what makes it so interesting like that. UpSwap is still a beginner. They just started a few months ago. And I am the German community lead. So because I like the project, I just looked at it and said, wow, I like to support this. So I'm the German community lead. So we have our German Telegram group. I want to make sure my German friends, network, they get into it. I'm active also in the English one. If you go to Discord, you find me there as one of the contributor. I'm not contributing yet that much, but at least today we talk about UpSwap in this topic. We're gonna talk more about it because it's an amazing project. And as Uma just added, when the new pool comes up or new staking rewards, etc., clear, everyone wants to jump into it and they want people to join it. So the percentage, the yield, the profit you can do in the first week, sometimes it's longer, are way higher. So if you don't start, we've been talking, okay? We've been talking. Now do your bit. Buy some CELO tokens, very easy. Even if it's just one CELO, just start with something. And for us, we don't care. You can start with a half CELO, a 1 CELO, 1,000 CELO. We are there for you. Buy CELO token, go on this platform. We help you. We take you through how to do it. Take your CELO, send them here. 5 seconds later, they're here. First of all, install Valora app. Valora app, contact us. Give us your Valora app wallet address, which we can show you. Next step, tell us how much you want to buy. We tell you from where you are how to do it. Third step, we transfer it to you after confirming with you. And please only the admins of our groups. After you get it, if you don't know, we're happy to set up Metamask on your own computer, your own devices, please. Private keys are yours. Never exchange with anyone, not even admin. Send us the address. We show you where the address is. In my case, it's just here. That's my address here, or in the MetaMask part, actually, I will just click on MetaMask here. Then my address is here. I copy it. Once I have it, I send now from my Valora to this address, CELO 6 7 seconds. It's here. You're going to swap. You swap them to 50-50. With that one we have already learned. So you swap some of it either to OOP token. In this case, I'll even say swap. It depends how comfortable you are. Into OOP, I believe the token is very likely to go high, but that no one can tell you 100%. And stake them as you've heard. Staking means they work for you. On top of it, the beauty, when OOP Swap wants to make a change, they have governance. Governance like you're in the village, that's what we African knows very well. Someone wants to do something, talk to the community. Should we do it? Yes, no, yes, we do it. I've seen it in Switzerland work very well. Still, though it's also a bit crumbled, which normally should be good governance, we have taken governance on the blockchain. So we have tokens that we use to allow you to have a voice. Because if you don't wear the shirt, why should we be talking about it? First wear it, talk about it, decide with the next shape. That's the beauty here. So thank you, Uma, for throwing that in. A very important point. Watch it, join the Telegram group. If you're in our group, we're gonna have more topic on OOP Swap. I will try to actually push more topic there. I will also give you the links from OOP, even CELO. Go straight there, get to know from the horse's mouth what's going on so that we build this ecosystem. So come to Counter 25 at Post Office, Uganda. You can get CELO token now, anytime. Anytime when it's closed, contact us on WhatsApp, Telegram. Badly already shared her contacts, or said she will share my contacts, I believe, are known, Paddy, and so on and so forth. We're just revamping some of our products, which are gonna be released once Michael says we are good to go. Uma will not say this is not good. Uma will say yes, that one at least, and other members hopefully too. So be ready to see a lot of changes, positive, and be part of this. Let's not just talk. So my friend who told me he wants to invest in this, I'm just gonna send him the link because I'm not gonna repeat anything anymore. I wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining. Those on YouTube, thank you being on Zoom, thanks. And those who watch in the future, still thank you to you too. And see you soon, handing over to you, Badly, if you're on still, or else I'll call it time well spent. I have not seen any other questions. So I think we're good. Okay. Back to you. Thank you.
Yes, I am still on. So, Mr. Michael, thank you very much for the session. Right, and I'll also say a big thanks to Umar for joining again on this particular session. We appreciate you last time. We appreciate you again today. And for everyone that joined us from the beginning of the session that couldn't wait to the end, probably maybe because of one thing or the other, we say a big thank you. And for those that also joined via YouTube streaming live, a very big thank you to you. And to everyone that stayed to the end of the session, thank you so much. Now go de obrigado. Thank you. Those are different. Just spoke, so I don't know if I got it right. Thank you very much. And in the light of this, I think we'll have to close the curtain for today's session. And before I go, please, I've dropped the links to our WhatsApp, our Telegram in the chat section. So you can chat us up or put a call to us at any time of the day. Trust me, we are going to pick. We're always online 24/7 to request for CELO. Buy CELO today. The future is crypto. The future is CELO. And we want you to journey with us on this beautiful journey, okay? So don't be left out. I'm signing out all the way from Nigeria. And I say see you guys next week and bye for now. Thank you for joining in.